Journey's not going to always be easy, and when you hit a roadblock, don't give up. You bet on yourself. The biggest challenge is a lot of businesses don't know who they are operationally or financially.
What's up, everybody? This is episode 3 of the SoapBox Hustle, where hustle meets strategy in the world of service. Double the mic,
double the game.
Yes, sir. We got some special guests with us today, man. It's going to be a good one. We got Mr. Charles Hubbard, and we got his son, the heir to the throne, Mr. Camryn Hubbard. It's going to be clap it up.
Welcome.
Man, so today's episode is about building the hustle in different ways, right? We last episode we kind of talked about how to, the basic steps of starting a business, right? How to get structured and things like that, and talk about my personal journey, which wasn't, quite the journey that Charles took, man. So I want to dive in today some of the steps that he took, man, the non-traditional route, but also seen a lot of success in the service space as well.
And today's episode of the SoapBox Hustle is brought to you by the Immaculate Management Group. We service all of your facility needs, so please check us out. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today.
Absolutely,
appreciate
man.
that. My name is Charles Hubbard. I am the CEO of Pennywise.com. And one of the things that I wanted to do is first of all, it's a pleasure to sit here with you guys because as I've been watching your journeys, this is enlightening that we're able to give back to people because sometimes people believe it's a cost. Mm-hmm. So I guess when I met James maybe 4 or 5 years ago, this concept of what we're talking about is brilliant. So just a little bit about myself. I am a 4-time CEO or entrepreneur. I have had a janitorial business for 15 plus years.
A veteran in the game.
Veteran in the game. At one time, I won't talk about dollar figures because that means nothing in this space, but it had up to 60 plus employees. I am now in the tech space, but I still do have a thread back into this service industry because it helped me to get where I'm at. As you guys heard James' strategy and his journey, that wasn't mine. I started this back in 2008, have grown with it, and had grew a multi-million-dollar business. But again, everybody gets wrapped up in numbers, and sometimes they lose the focus of what are we really trying to do here. And I'm honored to be sitting here and talking to you all because it gives me a chance to give back to the people for what was given to me. And sometimes that doesn't come with a cost. It comes with just sharing the knowledge.
Right. Absolutely. Man, you dropped a lot of jewels on the people, man. It's a lot of things that I want to touch on. The first thing is we talk about, right, getting the start. How did you, back in 2008, right, how did you start? What pushed those things along? How did you get the financing behind it? Just give us the basic roots of how Pennywise, right, came about.
Well, I have always wanted to be an entrepreneur. This is I'm about to date myself, the Jetsons. And then for some of you who won't know who the Jetson is, go back and there was a tech-driven society cartoon. And
you're not talking about the guy who was on the famous Jet Jackson or something like that, or are you talking about before my time?
That's before his time.
It's before your time, brother.
Got you. Just making sure we on the same.
No. It's before your time. Well, the journey has been to understand who I am as a business owner. And as I used to consider myself a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur these days. Mm-hmm. I am a 4-time entrepreneur, as I spoke earlier. But as I have grown in the business, as my son has grown in the business, my son when I started this, he was 8 years old.
Wow. So you saw this camera right here, this your firstborn?
This is my firstborn.
Okay.
Only born.
Gotcha. We're going to get to how you groomed him to be the next, heir to the business or take over the throne. But you definitely want to hear more about the startup process and how you got going. And especially in the franchise space, right? I don't know if we kind of introduce you that way, right? I know you got Pennywise, right, which is a master tech company. I want to say in the SaaS space, but before then it was a franchise, a cleaning franchise, right, which ultimately created the Pennywise company, correct?
Yeah, Pennywise would not exist. Pennywise would not exist without Crystal Clear Solution, which is a franchise business plug, but I'm not giving them the plug because I am the franchise.
There you go.
So, and reason why I say that is there's no hate or shame to it. There was a lot of lessons learned. There was a lot of opportunities for failure, but that's it with anything we do. As we have gone through this process and grown with it, what I've learned, the biggest challenge is a lot of businesses don't know who they are operationally or financially. So that was the birth into Pennywise. I was running my business and people were offering me business and telling me what was good for me. And that's kind of funny because shouldn't you know what was good for you for run your business? I did not know that.
Now, Charles, so as it relates to the franchise, it's a little different, right? So when you have a franchise versus, I think essentially being more of an independent operation, right? So with the franchises, like you mentioned, they will kind of set a price and they will tell you what they're going to pay you. Do we have that right? Am I getting that right?
That is correct.
As opposed to you being more of an independent agent, you kind of set the price to your standard and your customers' liking.
Yeah,
correct?
That's a good point, Jason, right? Just to kind of throw something on top of that, you said that people try to figure themselves out who they are in business, right? So what they'll learn to, or what they'll come to learn about you is you were the difference maker, if I, so to speak, in the franchise space, right? You went against the grain in every which way possible, but that was a part of finding your identity, right? How did you come to the conclusion of who you are in business and then establishing yourself in the franchise world as a real business owner and not going with the grain of, hey, this is what we have to offer you. You either take it or leave it. It's like, nah, this is my counter offer, or this is what I propose to you guys. But really having a business within a business is what you specialize in, man. You got to give them the game, Charles. Not everybody was able to accomplish what you accomplished, man. We got a lot of franchise owners that's going through the day to day as a job that can't find their way out. We got to hear from you, man.
Yep, and it's a cycle where they get stuck because they don't understand the operations of the business, right?
They don't understand the business in general.
Well, hold on. It's not a cycle. Some of us go into this space, which is very few of us, to be a business owner, to start, pay my bills, and I'm going to build on top of that to do just more than just that. As you were saying, there is a cycle. The cycle is where you fit into their structure. How do you work within their structure and their rules and their regulation where you don't break their rules, but you also have the opportunity to grow. So it's James, you mentioned that. One of the things I figured out real quickly is, first of all, you're not going to just come and offer me business and tell me it's good business, and I'm supposed to make that okay for me to do business.
Absolutely.
I know that sounded all just jumbled up. As Camryn has been in my space, and sorry, this child labor law, so I got to be careful what I say here, is making sure that as you're growing yourself, what is the opportunity for yourself? Right. I think we don't define that. Right. We just hold on. There's growth, and then how do you grow? People want to grow, but sometimes growth is just adding more business and not any more revenue. Right. So if you're going to really try to figure out who you are, what are your goals? Where you're trying to go? What are some of the challenge? Don't get me. Hold on. I'm going to control myself because this industry is tough. It is a tough industry. Yeah. So they control your day, how you do, and then they had a right to come spank your hand when you do something wrong. I rarely get a pat on the back and say that I did good.
Man, that comes with the industry, right? Yeah, Jason said all the time, man, it's a thankless industry. It's one of those things to where, man, we can do everything right and we won't hear a thing, right? Yep. The moment that, we saw a piece of tissue on the ground, it's like, the whole contract is about to collapse. But being able to sustain, right, ourselves in this industry, man, that says a lot. But going back to you, man, I got to speak on what I know. The fact that you said that you were able to create or generate a 7-figure business from a franchise, right? Yep. Now, franchises make a lot of money, but when we think about that, or my mind at least, right, it gravitates to like the food industry franchises, right, the McDonald's. We all know they generate a lot of money, but in the service industry, it is extremely rare that you will find a cleaning business in particular that can generate those type of numbers and remain profitable in the process, right? Because we all know it's not what you make, it's what you keep, right?
correct.
So can you just more jewels on how you were able to identify some of the inefficiencies within the system that you chose to buy into and was able to, turn it around and use it as a positive for you. But not only that, right, create a tech company, right, based on the inefficiencies within the system.
Well, here's the best way I can say this. Pennywise was born from my janitorial business. As we grew, and as I expounded from 20 employees to 40, got a big local contract with the hospital. How do you run that type of business? And then as we sit there and do, what rules are you following? The rule that I was told is we aren't allowed, we're meant to work in our business, not on our business.
Yep.
And their directive is that we work in it and continuously work in it. And where I became the person who was trying to change the system, I never wanted to follow that model. My model was, how do James, I heard you say this in one of your last episodes. How do I get someone to replace me at the same time duplicating this in multiple buildings? So how did I grow to 20 plus accounts? Is that model. How do I replace myself every time I got out an account? What business I realized what business I did or did not want to do. Hold on. This is not your preference. This could be you can do everything you want to do. I didn't want to do daycares. I didn't want to do movie theaters. Why? Because daycares are dealing with kids. And guess what kids do?
Make a mess.
Make a mess.
Listen, man,
I love them.
We service a ton of schools right now, man, and it is. I love it. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to put any bad press, but I understand the challenges of cleaning those spaces. I definitely do.
Yeah.
Man, you said something else, Charles, that I want to talk about, or bring a Camryn to the table, rather, right? As you identify these things, Camryn was 8 when he came up, man. How did you start incorporating him into the business and to have him adopt the same mind or thought process that you had in developing these different businesses?
And just to add on to that really quick, Camryn, because I have kids as well, but I think sometimes it's kind of hard to sell our kids on our vision and our dreams.
Oh, he needs to tell you that story.
Yeah, so Camryn, how did you take a liking to what your dad was?
He didn't.
Oh, I didn't. And like he told you, I was in it at the age of 8. So were my cousins, because you had this professional in Charles who was here to make money for his family, make money for his business, and then you got me who
was having fun,
who's not here to clean. You know what I'm saying? But as you get older, I think one of the things he instilled in me properly was that everything that he works on is not mine. It doesn't belong to me. The fruits of his labor is his. And whatever I make in this world, yes, I can benefit from the fruits of his labor, but whatever I make in this world is because of me. So once that message got through, I think it became a maturity level increase in terms of what I was in his business.
Okay.
And then moving from there, like he said, it wasn't something I wanted to do. I did it for the family, and coming back, I managed in his business, but again, it wasn't anything I really wanted to be in. So I think finding my true path allowed me to work on Pennywise with him, because it's a passion of mine to help people. I want to help our community. I want to give back to our businesses.
But there wasn't a sense of entitlement either, right?
No, it never was mine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what they gave me as my parents. They never gave me, like, this is yours. And I would go to school and people would see the fruits. But in my head, it wasn't mine, so I never could reconcile with them. Like, yes, this is mine to you because it's properly like mine, but it never belonged to me. This money that you see isn't mine. What I have is not mine.
Man, Camryn, we about to take this episode down another whole lane, man, because he might be touching on some important points, man. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I might have to trade him off for one of my kids.
Man, I mean, just this generation, in totality, man, it's hard to the balance of creating success and wealth for your family, and then having that, be the trend moving forward. Like what's the famous meme or quote? They say, my grandfather used to walk to work. My father rode a bike. he said, I'll drive a Ferrari, but then the next generation, they'll be walking again, right? Because the sense of entitlement. And they say hard times create strong men, and easy times create weak men. And I don't have any kids either, but just, trying to groom the next generation to keep that same hunger and drive, man. Charles, you got to pat on the back.
Hold on. Can I probably need to speak to that in more detail.
Mm-hmm.
This father and son, he's gonna always be my son, but business people, we didn't vibe at all.
No. We used to fight more than we used to actually get stuff done.
But that's what make a good business relationship, right? If you got somebody that's going to always agree, right? Even in his young age and identify some things that he didn't agree with, whether he was wrong or whether he was right, but having the voice to speak up on those things, right? That's all you could ask for.
Most definitely, but there's a way to do it. I think where we started, we didn't understand how to go about it. Or now we can, from the outsider's perspective, look like we're arguing, but me and him are just trying to get to a central
Y'all got a way of
place.
communicating that nobody would understand. Nobody would understand. That's just the dynamic of, father, son, and transitioning to, business partners as well, right? But, man, Jay, I want to kind of shift the conversation a little bit, going back into some of the business operations of Charles. We got to give more insight into what Pennywise is, right? This is a black tech developer we got sitting right here, right? He got his start in the franchise world, right, which is some lot of similarities, but you essentially, identify the inefficiencies within their system, right? This $1 million or $1 billion system.
$1 billion system.
Yeah. And you say, no, we can do this better. Or I can do this better, but let me show you how to do it better and show the world how to do it better. But not from just a franchise standpoint, but just in business in general.
I think there's where we fail us. We don't talk to each other. We don't come into each other's space. I came into this space, and even when I walked in the room, the first thing I said, this is a creative. And understanding who you're dealing with makes the conversation so much better. But we don't know how to deal with each other.
Right.
We don't even know how to talk to each other at times. And then sometimes when it's the crab in the barrel mentality. Those who get out and especially black people, we have a hard time reaching back in to pull people back up.
Why is that, man? Why we hate to see each other winning, essentially?
I don't think it's hate. I think sometimes we get so blinded in that we escaped it. We don't want to lose it.
I think it's also a sense of competition. I think you see somebody can come take that from you too as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see it in many different ways, man. But I think we more effective as a collective, and more powerful as a collective.
Yep. But I wanted to really take a deeper dive into SaaS because our viewers, a lot of them don't know what SaaS is, right? So SaaS is service as a software.
Software as a service.
Software as a service. SaaS. Correct.
Yes.
That's more so subscription based, right? Anything dealing with the subscription, right?
Yep.
Okay. So as it relates to your SaaS platform, and I guess Camryn, this is more so a quick because Charles, you had the vision, right? But Camryn, did you come on as a developer? I know you're a partner in this, but what is your role in this?
So I came on as a creative director for him. I would say in the technology space. I think when we first started off, he was having problems understanding what this space truly was, and having me, a younger touch, allowed me to be his right-hand man in this space. So in the 2-3 years I've been working on this project, I think I've grown incredibly, for the simple fact where I started, I was a dropout when I started. I dropped out of college. I was going to law. I was doing law, and law wasn't something I wanted to do. I knew tech was my passion, and I knew I wanted to help people. His vision aligned perfectly with that. And so for me, it was a case of let me jump in this now and grow with this. As I grew with the janitorial space, this is another business I can grow in.
Yeah, and I think it's a lesson in that too, right? Regardless of what business you choose to conduct, right? The balance of your team, right? Like he said, he got the experience side from even experience in the industry, right? So both ways, and then you got the young, fresh mind, right? Up to date on the trends. And those two combined, man, you create a storm, a perfect storm.
Well, hold on, and that is perfect how you said that. Camryn and I exist because he has what he wants to accomplish, and I have what I want to accomplish. And his dream is not my dreams. Hold on, everybody's dream don't have to be everybody's dream, but how do I get you to your dream through my eyes? If I'm the one that the crab in the barrel, if I'm pulling you up, I can't always set you up in your own your everything perfect where you can have it everything that you want. You may have to go into the dirt sometime with me to go figure out what it is, just to so it can birth your own ideal of identity, who you are, and where you're going in life. This has been a struggle. Hey, I got to speak to this because Camryn didn't say this. Camryn has only seen good up to the last 2 years. And I'm so glad he had an opportunity to see the struggle of what it takes to be an entrepreneur, the struggle of what it takes to run a business. Right. That takes the father and son out of this conversation. So now he's starting to understand what it takes to run a business.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so few people actually do, man. It's like we always see the highlighting of, successes, right? The rewards of entrepreneurship. Man, listen, it's days when last time I said, man, I'm about to just throw my phone, man. It's a wrap, bro. I'm ready to walk up out of here, man.
Quit my job.
Like, man, the challenges of owning and operating a business, being an entrepreneur, like, man, we don't speak on that often enough, right? To prepare others for the trials and the errors and and the ongoing challenges and the payroll fights and
sleepless nights and
and I can speak to that. Like, that's where Pennywise was born. It wasn't born out of let me fix the master franchise. To me, Pennywise was more born out of Charles saying, how can I fix my own business? And how did I fix my own business? And how can I help other people fix their business?
So Camryn, really quick, explain to the viewers, what is a master franchise?
So and it's crazy that master franchise is the term for it, as it implies. But in the
it's crazy.
In the franchise industry, the franchise model has 3 levels. At the top level, you have corporate, and then you have what is essentially regional markets in terms of a master franchise or people who run a regional market. And master franchise below them have people like me and Charles that report directly to them, and you have basically what we figured out to be a triangle. But
please don't say it out loud, but that's the triangle.
I'll say it for you, man. A pyramid, man.
A little bit of triangle going on there.
Yeah, but in, like I say, in speaking on that, man, the fact that you were able to create a certain amount of success out of that, right? To almost like you cut out the middleman. I don't know if we can speak on that either, but you were able to do the unthinkable. And I can remember, man, I want to speak on this too. In educating other business owners, right, which is the purpose of this podcast, man. I can remember a few years ago, you got other franchise owners in the room, right, and tried to say, hey, let's work together, right? If we use these tools, we can the success that I created, I can ensure, right, that you guys will experience the same thing, right? Let's get out of the rat race. Let's stop servicing these things ourselves. Let's create actual businesses. But it's hard because once you purchase the job and you got the job and a worker mentality, my man, good luck to you.
It is when we talk about this space, it's alarming how many people purchase a job, not a business. And hold on, but again, there's no judgment there. But what I had to come to reconcile in my own brain is some people don't want the help that you're offering. And so hold on, if you want to know how I did it, hold on. There's a great blueprint. You know how James did it. There's Jason, anyone who has gone out there to try to start. And Camryn, he's on this journey himself. As again, I will repeat this statement. Camryn's not on my team to live my dream. Camryn's on my team to figure out what his dream is and then be birthed of that, right, and move from that space.
Man, if I can speak on that, man, Rich Paul said it best, man. He was talking about how his and LeBron's relationship, and he was saying that people had the misconception that LeBron gave him everything that he had, right? He said, LeBron didn't give me a thing. I had 50 plus clients when LeBron came on board, right? I had to prove to LeBron that I was the guy to take on those responsibilities and handle his affairs professionally. But I see the same dynamic here. You say, being groomed, right, is totally different than being given something, right?
Really quick, guys. So I know we talked about, as it relates to Pennywise, how you found flaws in, I guess, the master franchisee or franchisor's systems, right? But what problems does Pennywise actually solve? Like, what are the functionalities of this application that you guys have developed?
A beautiful question, because we could talk about it, and I don't. One of the great things I can tell people when I talk to people on demos, I'm not selling you anything. Excuse my language. I ain't selling you shit. If you don't understand if you don't know what you don't understand about your business, and I'm giving you these blueprints and these tools. Why? Because this wasn't birthed out of a great ideal for the world. This was birthed out of me trying to correct the problem for myself. I didn't understand my business. I had no clue what my profits were. And when I say this, a question came from a young lady today. She asked the question, why would this be a problem if you are profitable? Well, if you have 10 accounts and what mask it is, we only look at what gets deposited into our accounts. Mm-hmm. You don't really look at the individual accounts to determine whether you're profitable in each one of those accounts. Pennywise is set up to do that. We don't want you to see that you made $20,000 this month, because you could have lost $2,000 in those two bad accounts that which it should have been $22,000 versus $20,000. If you don't see it, you don't understand how to get to it at the root of the account level, you'll never know where you're at. Also, it's their opportunities. We don't read contracts, people. We don't read contracts. Yeah. Know your damn contracts. Excuse me, Mike, and I mean to get too loud there. No. We don't know our contracts. We don't understand. We don't know what we are allowed to do or not allowed to do. Sometimes we just operate for somebody to tell us, give us a pass to the next okay to do the next thing. I'm not okay for somebody directing me that way. You can give me advice. I will ask you advice, but no one's controlling me. Right. Why did I look like I was trying to be the... Why was I trying to be like I'm trying to be immaculate? Immaculate is doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's touching the industry in every aspect from the service standpoint. I love what he's doing. That was never my goal. My goal was, how do I build something legacy? How do I get people to, not just for my son, for everybody that has touched me, someone has gifted something for me to get my business started. My first piece of equipment, showing me how to do a floor. How do you trade that information back in where you're not looking for something in return? That's what I love about what you gentlemen are doing is that.
Yeah. Charles, look, man, we got to unpack. You talking about, well, first off, your software is centered around the finances of a business, right?
Yes.
Man, the famous quote is, not what you make is what you keep.
That is
right?
correct.
So understanding your finances, right? You talk about from overall perspective and also from an individual account perspective, right? Now, in our industry, me personally, right, we try to keep our margins between 35 and 40%. How many business owners don't have a clue what their profit margins are? They're looking at the overall intake or the overall dollar amount that they bringing in, not knowing that your expenses might exceed everything that you're making.
And James, let's go a little bit more simple. People don't even know what the hell margins mean.
I'm gonna say they don't know what a margin is, a net percentage.
Yep.
And budgets, creating budgets for each facility that you have. There's a budget for payroll. There's a budget for supplies and equipment. There's a budget for uniforms. There are a lot of things I think that folks don't talk about, especially when you're dealing with franchises. And I know from personal experience, because I've worked under franchises, right? So you guys know I do a ton of floors. And there would be situations where they would call me about a flooring project, and I'm like, okay, I need to know the square footage, right? I don't have it on me right now. I don't have it on hand right now. But I need to know. First off, I need to know the square footage, because if I'm waxing the floor, I know that 1 gallon of wax is going to cover one coat, 2,800 square feet, right? So if I got a building that's like 30, 40, 50,000 square feet, I need to know these numbers, because I need to be able to budget these things and factor it into the overall package, right? So these are the things I think that as it relates to and this is why I love what you're doing. It's brilliant, because they're not going to tell you this information. They don't want to teach you this information.
Man,
right?
Same here, man. Like it's a science behind what we do, right? Like I say, we often talk about how it looks on the outside, but even knowing that, hey, a cleaner should be able to clean X amount of square feet within an hour, right? Knowing your labor costs and things like that. But that is to highlight the software. That is the things that Charles, Pennywise. That's what Pennywise does.
Our goal is, how do we get you to understand where the opportunities are, And hey, and I'm sadly to say that some people are going to put their information into the system, and it's going to tell them something they really never wanted to hear.
Yeah.
That you shouldn't be doing this.
Losing money.
You're losing money.
money.
And hold on. Why is there a fear of that? Because sometimes loans we have enough to pay our bills, we're okay. But my thing at the end of the day, what have we accomplished if we're not growing? If hold on, what am I giving Camryn? I'm giving Camryn. I'm not giving him money. He is on my payroll, but that's not what I'm trying.
You're not giving him a thing.
I'm not giving him anything.
You're giving them knowledge. Which
Yes.
is more important. That's priceless.
Yes,
It's priceless.
This when we talk about what you guys are doing, what James and Jason has done is tremendous. You guys have went out and set your own market. So when you did mention that, so brother, I didn't miss that. Yeah, hold on. My prices get capped. It used to get capped. I control my what I will do and what I won't do. And hold on, but that's not me bragging. That's me saying to you, I have earned the right to be able to control what I will do in business and not do in business. Hold on, there was a period of time I did business, and I had to defer. That means when I say defer, I had to shut up and take it.
Right. Yeah.
until I knew better. So and hold on, again, having a chance to meet James, one thing I would want the world to know this: we are partners. We never sign a piece of paper. We never. Here's your piece. When we negotiate in good faith. What we say we're gonna do, we do.
Absolutely. And I think that's an important business concept too, man. Relationships, the power of relationships. Man, I was trying to surround myself, Jason, Charles, Camryn, with people that's like-minded, but not only in thought, but in morals as well, right? In integrity. It's very important that when we, essentially get in bed with people, right, from a contractual standpoint, even though we didn't sign a contract, right, the verbal agreement was enough for us to say, yeah, I'm gonna stick to whatever the agreement is between us two. But we want to make sure that we build our circles, man, that is people that stand on integrity, man, as we move forward. Man, real quick, I want to Charles and Camryn, I want both of y'all to ask. I want to ask both of y'all this. What advice do you have? Some for one, thinking about opening a franchise, and then the second part to it is, Camryn, this is probably towards you. What lessons have you learned about leadership, growth, and client relationships?
Yeah, I'll take the second one. You take the first one.
My major advice is understand. Hold on, everything, the glitz of things will look good to everyone, and hold on, and the opportunity to be given something that didn't really take you a hard time. That means finding your own business is challenging for people. So some people are okay with deferring. Read your damn contracts. Understand what you, hold on, I'm not saying you're signing yourself away, but understand what you're signing. Right. And understand what you want out of it when you go into it. That means you won't sign a contract. Hold on, hold on. Here's the thing I would say to you guys. I have no regrets of being a franchise. I'm still a franchise. My thing is, I'm just much more knowledgeable what it is. My biggest thing I would tell people is understanding what you're going into it before you get into it, so you're not disillusioned. People get their first check and realize that they had 80% of their mony was already gone.
Balling, right? Check and realize they got expenses, taxes.
Hold on, and they're crying because they had already spent the money to pay mortgages, car notes, and now you're scrambling here. Now you're behind the ball. So understand what big advice I would give people: understand what you're signing and why you're signing it. So, Camryn.
I would say, to answer the second question of what have I learned, I think one of the biggest things I've learned about this entrepreneurship is you're never not learning. You're never done learning. I think one of the things I went into business thinking was that you hit a point where you like, oh, I know it. Yeah. You never hit that point. Never assume that. And for me, I used to go into rooms with a scale of things that I knew, probably lower on the scale, and things that I thought I knew or how I felt was all the way to the right. Now I'm over here with the things I know, thinking that I'm always walking into a room, I can learn from somebody. Yeah. I can learn from you, I can learn from you, I can learn from anybody I'm in the room with, and that's how I enter the space now.
Charles, Camryn, as it relates to Pennywise, can you talk to us about some of the, if you are comfortable, some of the startup costs and in terms of, did you raise money? Did you do like a Series A seed round? Like, did you fund this out of your own pocket? How did that work?
I'll let him answer that because he is the one who.
The financier.
This has been a journey. I have yet to take any money from anyone, and I say this because people say because they haven't given it, but understanding the space of when you take money from people, you got to be clear what their intentions is and what you want out of it. So we're in that stage now where we're actually considered taking money from people, but the one thing is, this is how you give yourself over or give your business over to someone is how they can take over what your ideal is and own you.
Yes.
So if the easiest thing is, we're probably easily $300,000 into this journey.
Wow.
And it's not something I'm completely comfortable with. Some of it is paid for and some of it's not. And but this journey is, and I was talking to someone today, you have to understand this. If you're going to choose to invest in yourself, sometimes you got to be willing to take risks.
Absolutely.
This ain't for the faint of heart. I'm hold on. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. Running your own business, making your own decisions. Hold on. Sometimes what gets excuse my language, gets my ass up out of bed, is the fact that there is no net.
Right.
If I fall,
Oh, you hitting that ground hard.
I'm hitting the ground hard. So my goal is, how do I continue to invest in something I believe in?
Right. So I know you said you have considered taking investments, right?
Yes.
So can we talk to the people about the importance of you two as the business owners owning the majority of your company, right? 51% or more. Can we talk about the importance of that?
Oh, no. It's absolutely critical. Again, this goes back to the statement of, be careful with who you give your business to and how much ownership you give them up. Because what you didn't realize, you gave 20% to this equity stake over here and another 20% equity stake over there. And we just added that up, that's 40. All they need is 11 more to own your company.
Right.
And hold on, what you didn't know is they were actually one of the same. So it is critical that as you're taking this journey, as you're figuring out how much you're going to allow people to be a part of your vision, you got to. Not everybody you can trust, and that's just as an entrepreneur. Not everybody you can trust. I started this in May of 2019. I got some horror stories. But those horror stories are my scars. Those scars are my badge. Those badges are what makes those trophies on my shoulder that pushes me to be better today. Yeah. So that's what's driving me. Is I learn from my mistakes. I'm okay with making mistakes. I'm okay with at times, and no one else but who would understand this from an entrepreneur said, sometimes you're gonna spend money that is not gonna give you a return.
Right.
But the return is, what did you learn?
Right. Absolutely.
When it failed.
I also think one of the things we've learned is being okay with giving up a piece of your business. I think when we first started in Pennywise, we were hard set. We're not taking any money. Mm-hmm. And not to say we've shifted to the other side of the spectrum. We still are cautious about what we want to go into, but we're open to it now, at least, that we can say, I'm okay with giving away this much of my business if it means this success.
Yeah, and I think that's extremely important, man. Understanding, right, when you setting up business in that type of way, right, thinking about taking on investments for equity, man, it's important that you filter out, the right type of people to invest, right? It shouldn't be just for monetary reasons, right? You want to invest with people that can add more value outside of the dollar. A lot of people got, big bankrolls, but how many people can assist you in building, this business a certain type of way, how you want to build it as opposed to how they see fit, right? I think another important thing to note is, a lot of people in our culture have the same mindsets, right? Of, I want to be 100% out there. This is all me. But when you look at it, right, some of the richest people in the world owns a fraction of their companies, right? You look at the Mark Zuckerbergs, Meta and Facebook, Elon Musk. None of these guys probably even have 50% of their businesses, right? But just investing with the right people who know how to push it along, right, and other areas and add value in other areas. Man, I think what is important.
Yep.
It's understanding when we speak on that is you can own 100% of 100% of debt. It's $400,000 in debt. That's sorry, my number was wrong. It's actually 400,000 of negative. So as I talk to people, oh no, you can get a piece of this. You just need to cut me a damn check because I'm in the red right now. But also, like you, James, I agree with you, James. When we envision what this is, sometimes it's not pretty. Some days those are days that you want to just, should I just chuck this in? Should I be done? A real entrepreneur understands that you're going to have those days where you struggle. A real entrepreneur knows that, hey, again, like Camryn said, our journey is now we're starting to understand. I haven't gotten to the group investors. I may just do an angel investor. What is the opportunity for us to grow? The growth is, you get this is the life I'm living today. You got to have money. Because none of this happens without funding.
Absolutely. And I kind of developed some knowledge about, the investment space. Back in 2018, we went through the chain reaction competition through Jumpstart. It was a chance for us to pitch our businesses to 5 different investors. It was, I want to say, hundreds of people that applied, or 100 of applicants, but they chose a group of 20. And within a group of 20, they picked 5 different businesses. But I think they were interested in other business, so probably maybe 7 to 10 businesses were chosen. But as I'm presenting my business to these investors, right? My first going into it, I'm thinking, man, listen, any one of them want to invest in me, I'm taking it, right? Yeah. But as I kind of went throughout the process and I started to educate myself, just going deep, like nothing in particular that I read or, it's just really just evaluating myself and my business and what our need was at the time. Of course we need money, right? But everybody could shell out money. We end up partnering with Vanessa White, shout out to AES Management, Popeyes. Vanessa Whiten was one of the investors that stood out to me, right? Not only because she was interested in us, but this is a black woman, first of all, who understands the plight of minority business owners and can provide value outside of money, right? Her contacts, her knowledge, and kind of mentor me along the way, just as opposed to cutting a check and then say, hey, I expect payment first of the month.
Right. Yeah, my experience was, I actually had an investor as well. More of a, I would say, private investor. And we offered her equity in the company. But she understands, she had a solid business understanding, and it wasn't one of those things where it's like, I cut you a check and I'm expecting payment now. She knew that, it would take us 3 years plus to start, making a profit, So for me, I think I got lucky in the sense that I actually got somebody behind me that believed in me, but also was willing to take the risk and take the time to allow us to grow at the same time,
I think you also took a risk on yourself, though. I think one of the things we haven't talked about is the fear of being a business owner, what it means to walk on that tightrope and live in that fear daily. And I think that's where a lot of people stop, is they hit that wall of, this is scary. I don't know what next week looks like. I don't know what tomorrow looks like. Right. So they just stop.
Right. Yeah, and I started out going the franchise route, and what I did was, and my family, we started out working for franchises, right? So my older brother, my sister-in-law, and then they saw, and I'm not throwing shade towards any franchise companies or anything. It's not like that.
They all serve their purpose.
They all serve their purpose, right? But again, my brother, my sister-in-law, they started to grow beyond the franchise, right? And then I actually ended up started working for my older brother. I worked with him for some years. And as I, was developing, my business mind and all of these things, I just felt like I wasn't learning what I needed to learn to evolve outside of working with him. Mm-hmm. So I actually had a friend in Maryland, and he worked for a larger commercial management company. And I got a little pissed off at my brother one day about some things, but I called my friend up and I sent him my resume. And then like 2 weeks later, I was flying to Maryland, and I was interviewing for a job with a cleaning company. And then literally like that same day, they flew me back to Cleveland. And by the time I was landing, they were offering me a job. And then 2 weeks later, I was literally packing my car up. All I had was my car. I had a little tiny hatchback like Hyundai. And I had all my clothes. I sold all my furniture, had all of my clothes. And I moved to Maryland. And I worked for this cleaning company as a he brought me on doing quality inspections, right? So we would go in, find imperfections about the cleaning. But I had a plan. So then I worked that for probably 2 years. And then I had an opportunity with a larger company. And they were owned by the Learners who own the Washington Nationals. Their family owns a company, a cleaning company as well. Some of the folks in their family, within their family. And met a young lady that I worked with. She worked for another commercial management company. She introduced me to the owner's grandson of this particular company, and they hired me in as a regional manager. And then from there, what I would do is I would go to like their government sites, and anytime they got a 30-day notice that they were going to lose a contract, they would send me in, and I would literally clean house, fire everybody. And I would hire new people, and we would turn it around like 3-4 weeks, literally. So I worked, at the Lockheed Martins, the Northrop Grumman's, all of these government contracts. But at the same time, I was doing some marketing on the side, and they got wind of me doing marketing, so I started doing a bunch of marketing for them. But kind of like in exchange, they were giving me the game on, and these are white folks like telling me, all right, Jason, this is how you price it, this is how you market this service, this is how you do this is how you do that.
It's the game.
And I literally sat in board meetings they had a board of directors, like literally almost daily. I sat with these guys right next to the owners. And there were I think out of a company of like 10,000 employees total, there were only 3, maybe 4 black people that worked out of that corporate office, and me being one of them. So, I learned as much as I could learn, and then like 2-3 years later, I decided just to start my own thing, and here we are.
Man, I love the fact that you was able to, be a sponge in that type of environment, right? A lot of us take it for granted, man. But to be, to realize the opportunity in the type of individuals that you're around, and to soak all that in and then be able to take that jump, that's a powerful story, man. And like I say, similar to, myself working on the grounds, but even in those situations, right, to have the mindset of, I'm going to learn, I'm going to use everything as a positive. I'm going to view everything as a positive, to learn what I can learn, take what I can take, and, what I can't, but I'm going to get what I can while I'm here. But, man, I think this is I think we gave him a lot of game today, man. A lot of game. We talk about the taking the franchise route, how to be differentiate yourself from other franchise owners and actually own a profitable franchise in the cleaning industry, right? It's a lot to take in, man. It's a lot to take in. Jay, any final words, man, or Charles, Camryn, anything y'all want to say to the people with some parting words?
Well, if I had to, first of all, I love what you gentlemen are doing here.
Thank you.
Because here's the thing that we don't do. We don't have mediums that are promoting free information. And hold on, and when I say free, this is what we're really doing here is how do you get to the dollars?
Yes.
And what those dollars mean, and how to value that. There's going to be struggle in this, but what I appreciate what you guys are doing is putting a medium out there that we're just not talking about success. Hold on, my biggest success is all my failures. So understand this, for the people that are trying to take this in and soak this in, the journey is not going to always be easy, and when you hit a roadblock, don't give up. Camryn made that statement is you bet on yourself.
That's right.
And if you bet on yourself, believe in yourself.
Right. Absolutely. So, for those entrepreneurs out there that want to find your software, Pennywise, how can they find it? How can they get access to it?
That is actually pretty simple. I would say Camryn, but no, the easiest way is Pennywise.com, and it's PENNIEWISE.com. Okay. It is not the clown. So please don't associate us with the clown. We brought the right name and the right domain. So we will help anyone that's looking for us, whether you want to buy it today or understand about what we're doing. please just drop a note and it will come directly to us, and we will set up some time to speak with you directly. So the path to be able to have this opportunity and use your platform to promote us I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. And man, and sorry about it. Y'all gonna hate me, man. Just because y'all clown me on my suit, man, I'm gonna open up a can of worms again. Right. One question for you. I think this is important because we'll be moving towards some of these topics in the future. But in a world full of AI, right? You got new softwares and development projects popping up every single day and being developed every single day.
Yes.
How you position yourselves to compete or bring these things along to further enhance the Pennywise platform?
I think one of the things that
Hold on. I love it. He said it. Don't worry.
No, I got
this one. Yeah,
I think
one
of the things we recently learned is competition is good. I think I spoke about this earlier, is that as black people, we always believe we're in competition with each other, and that's not the case. But when you're going into a market, competition is a good thing because it signifies there's a need for that in the market.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
for us, we love that there's competitors now. When we first started Pennywise, we were at the belief of, well, not many people are doing it, so we are pioneering something. And yes, pioneering is good, but it also comes with the struggles of being a pioneer of that brand. And that's something we had to learn as well, is if there's competitors in that market, it makes it easier for you to do it the way you do it. And we have a specific spin on how we take finances and how we deal with business and your business specifically. And that's how we approach the market.
Yeah, and I think the fact that you're doing it from a service perspective too. Like we created this because of challenges that we face, right? As opposed to, this is technology. Let's see what, throw this fish out there and see what we come back with. Nah, this was made with a purpose, right? It's actually solving a problem.
I think people see all of our stories in some different way and can chalk it up to luck. Oh, you were lucky to sit with those people at the table, or you were lucky to get this opportunity. You were lucky to get that. All you guys worked for it. All you guys worked for it. And then that mindset of I'm competing with you, it feeds into that mentality. As black people, we are not competing with each other. We are in this together.
It's big enough.
It's big enough for all of us.
But you'll see that trend, right? The audience will see the trend of visitors that we bring up here, right? There's nobody we're in competition with. The fact that me and Charles both had cleaning services,
We're direct competitors.
we are direct, and we made a ton of money together, right?
Yes, we did.
And we will continue to make a ton of money together, right? But because we don't view each other as competition, right? It's not a threat to me. I'm not a threat to him. But collectively, we can be a threat to everybody, right? To the market space. That's right. Right.
And before, hold on, I need to stress this. You did mention this. One of what we're doing, and it's not many black companies that are doing it. And those are doing it. I hope you do it well. We're in the AI space. So what we're trying to do is, how do we do something, do it better with less hands touching it? That's not talking about firing people. That's me helping you become a better, optimized business. Yes. And if I can optimize your business, you can make more money somewhere else.
Again, it's not what you make, it's what you keep, right?
Absolutely.
So if you operate more efficiently, right, there's more money in your pocket. If your profit margins go from 10% to 20% to 30%, that results in more money for you that you taking home to you, your family, and whoever else is expecting, a payday. But man, again, I appreciate it. Y'all gave us more than what we asked for. Like I really do appreciate it. Man, J.E., anything last words you want to?
Yeah, no, I'm just excited to be in your presence, and I'm excited to see where you guys, Pennywise, where you guys are headed. And again, I'm just lucky just to be here on the ground, on the forefront with you as you guys are beginning to get going. So we're just excited about your journey.
There's 2 jets for me, man. We got one from Pennywise. We got one coming from Pennywise. Look, man, you gotta be smart and strategic about the company that you keep.
Our caretaker is headed to Bali for a month, and I'm envious. Our caretaker here, so she's headed to Bali. Hey, hold on, I ain't jealous. I got nothing but respect for that, because she's living a dream. She's living her life. I want everybody to understand what you see here today. You can have her dream. You can have your dream, but you got a dream. You can't. Let's not stop dreaming here.
Yeah. And I think I want to encourage, our viewers, black folks especially, really take advantage of the tech space right now. I don't know that, and I haven't looked at the trends, but I don't know that there are a lot of us doing it. But if you are, is definitely something to take a look into, because that's just the wave of the future. Machine learning, AI, even if it's not your own, platform directly, take a look at, becoming developers or learning some of these applications, Python, or, I know you guys are familiar with all these things, but I think I would really encourage the viewers to really take a look at some of these things.
For sure. And I think
really
we can
advantage
touch on that, man, probably next episode. But if you own a business, if you are not incorporating AI into your business in some capacity, you will fall behind.
Yes.
You will become irrelevant in the marketplace. I don't care if it's a service business or the largest tech company, you will become irrelevant. You have to incorporate AI. It is making the processes very seamless and easy from start to finish, right? Even in our world, right? You talk about a customer coming to inquire about a service, it should be quick, fast, and to the hurry. Everybody, in today's time, we expect things on demand, right? We spoil. We expect things delivered to our doorstep. The food, we no longer got to get out of our bed. We can have everything in the moment, right? AI is a tool to assist with that, right? In the trend and the development of where we headed. So
It's scary, but it's exciting. And hold on. And so I'm an entrepreneur, so I live on that razor. So for me, I'm going to walk towards it versus walking away from it because I don't understand it. And hold on, yes, it's going to take a lot of time for people to adopt it, but understand that you won't have a choice. Matter of fact, if you're holding the phone, you have AI in your hand right now. So when you say I don't have anything to do with this, if you have a phone, you are already part of this club. So
I agree.
Because it's listening to everything you say. Sorry, we don't get into that's another whole.
We might have to bring Charles and Camryn back for the AI episode, man. We can
do that. I can
dive a little
definitely do
deeper. I mean, that's your world, man. It's your job to know these things in technology. So yeah,
Absolutely.
But no, this has been great, man. Another great episode of the SoapBox Hustle, where hustle meets strategy in a world of service. I'm James Barnes.
I'm Jason Teal.
Double the mic.
Double the game.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.